This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But it's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI's not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. Their clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. They offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions that isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will find that their mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the healthcare they deserve. Because they believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized, insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Streamed and Screened, an entertainment podcast about movies and TV from Lee Enterprises. I'm Terry Lipschutz, managing editor of the National Newsroom at Lee and co-host of the program with Bruce Miller, a longtime entertainment reporter. And despite the rain that I've been dealing with in the Midwest and some cooler than normal temperatures up until recently, we're basically in the summer now, right? It's summer movie season.
It's summer blockbuster season. This is when we start hauling out the big guns and hopefully making a lot of money. But I was watching Lee Cronin's The Mummy, and how do you get your name in the title? That's a good one. I saw all of the trailers that they're pushing now for summer films, and they're louder than loud. Somehow we've got to crank the sound up, so then that makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm not deaf, or I'm in a summer movie theater. That's how that works. But in there, I realize they fall kind of into four blocks, okay? One is horror films. Horror films are a license to print money because they usually star nobody you know.
Right.
They have the same kind of format. They're cheap to make, and you can throw them in any time of the year, and kids will go to them as long as they've got a blanket that they can cover up with while they're at the theater. Don't ask. And then, then musical biographies, and we've seen this for years, where we've had the Queen one, Bohemian
Rhapsody, right?
The Elton John one. Every year there'll be one like that, and this year it's Michael Jackson's Michael.
Right.
So that fills that role. Then there are sequels. Sequels are big. Anything with a number in it. Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming this year, and I think that'll be huge. I'm already predicting it's going to make lots of money because they've been everywhere on TV. You can't go anywhere without watching them. And we've got Toy Story 5. That's going to be big. But anything with a number seems to work because people think, well, we saw it the first time, so it's got to be good the second time. And then superhero / blockbuster films. This one can be the slipperiest slope of all because if you don't like the action hero, you could be in trouble. And I think the Avengers found that out with some of their lesser Avengers.
Right.
Nobody cared. But we've got Spider-Man coming this summer, so that's a good one.
Right.
Supergirl is coming. I don't know that she'll have traction. I think she's one of those on the bubble.
Supergirl. We'll talk about Supergirl during this show, but go on.
Yeah, but there are ones like that I think could go either way. And that's the iffy category. Now, I was trying to think what could be the ultimate summer movie that would make money. And I figured out what it is. It's a Back to the Future reboot.
Oh, yeah.
And you somehow either you do it another generation or whatever. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Wouldn't you love to see Ferris Bueller as the dad with a kid, and then they go on a day off together?
Right. Yeah, and they sort of did a Ferris Bueller, if you remember, I think it was a Super Bowl commercial a few years ago, right? Where they kind
Yes.
of implied that they had aged forward a little bit.
And I
Yes,
think it could
absolutely.
work. You find
Yes.
some of the but you what they don't have is a John Hughes who could write it for them that would be clever and cute and whatever. Um, but I think if you had those concepts, those are built-in surefire ones that'll work. I don't think that something like the Odyssey is going to be that big this year, even though it's stuffed with big names. It's like, oh God, do I want to see this? No.
Right.
And then a Spielberg film is always good during summer. We've got Disclosure Day this year,
Disclosure Day, right?
and I
Which
think that'll be big.
yeah, and I'm so confused. I've seen that trailer now so many times, and I have absolutely no idea what that movie is even about, but I'm
Yeah.
intrigued, right? I mean, it's like sort of an alien thing we think, but what is it?
Well, and then it's like they're in other rooms and they're not in the same room, but they're talking to each other.
Right.
The green screen effect, I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
Spielberg always wins at summer, so I think he'll be big. Um, I worry about Masters of the Universe. That's coming out this summer. That looks bad. It looks
Uh-huh.
cheap, and I don't think the kid who stars in it, he was in one of those kind of Netflix type movies,
Yep.
and he got a lot of traction, and then he bulked up. And I think the bulking up makes him look stupid.
Do you know what my problem is too? When I saw the trailer for Masters of the Universe, do you know what it reminded me instantly of? And it was a film that I don't think it did very well. It had some similarities, I think, in the way they're going about it. Do you remember when they did the Smurfs movies with
Yeah,
I think it was like Neil Patrick Harris, right? He was
right?
in it. So it's the cartoon, but they're bringing it into the real world,
Yeah, that doesn't work.
right? It does not work, and that's the problem that I'm foreseeing with Masters of the Universe, is that if they would have just done Masters of the Universe, right? Like, just send
Right.
them out into the universe and had them do their thing, I think you would have a sporting chance, but it's when you drop the character onto Earth and then like, "Oh, wait, I'm actually,
What?
He-Man. What? When did that happen?" Right? It just feels weird, I always kind of felt the same way about Smurfs, like, you've got the Smurf land and all that stuff, but all of a sudden they show up in Central Park, New York, right? It just seemed odd, and I didn't think that ever worked right for me, and I can see that being a big issue with Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I'd like to be wrong, but it looks like a dud to me. So
Right.
does Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are ones that I go, "Yeah, do I wanna go to this? No." And I
Mhm.
think if you don't capture that audience in the trailer right away and you go, "Oh my god, I gotta see that," they're not gonna come.
Right.
There are too many other options for them, and that's where movie theaters struggle these days. How do you make sure the audience comes? It's gotta be something that they wanna see on a big screen, that has a big enough kind of pull, and, will keep them there for 2 hours without complaining.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
those are my but I think Devil Wears Prada is gonna be our first big thing. Even though Michael is getting great traction in the early days, I don't know that it has the legs because people start talking about, well, what about the real story about Michael Jackson? You know,
Yeah.
and that's not being told.
No. So I didn't look too closely at the film. What era is it planning to cover?
Well, it gets up to the good years where he was like winning Grammys and stuff, but
Okay.
it doesn't talk about let's go to Neverland,
Uh-huh. And yeah.
you know. So I
Right.
think there is a good Michael Jackson story to be told,
Sure.
but you're not going to get the family to participate in that story.
Mhm.
So
Right. Yeah. I feel like the other movie in I've always been it's I've enjoyed the film series. I've always thought they've done very well. And it's one of those that, they it's like, well, it's coming back again. And you think like, well, is it gonna do okay? But it always seems to do fine. And it's the Toy Story franchise. I feel like no matter how many of them they do, they seem to have the right formula and the way of bringing it forward so that even though you kind of worry like, is this going to be the one that's finally a dud? they seem to have like locked into at least some sort of formula where it works. And with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen and all them, it just feels like safe, right?
They wrapped up at 3, and it
Yeah.
was a good ending for them, but let's get some money, folks. We need to make
Yeah.
some money, and then came 4, and of course, now 5, and I'm assuming that there will be a 6 too.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
if
like
if
Star Wars. It's their franchise.
it's their franchise, it's the biggest thing that's really ever come out of Pixar. Maybe those Cars ones have done pretty well too, but I feel like Toy Story has really been the gold standard
Yeah.
for the Pixar branch of Disney. And if they just want to keep on pumping out those movies and the actors are willing to keep coming back, that's great.
Why don't they just, instead of always having to have Buzz and Woody there, why don't they focus on other toys?
Right. They could, and I think you could have some good side stories there, which they sort of did with Minions, right? When they've that's part
Yeah.
of that franchise, but you've got some side stories, and you can have 5 minutes of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen come back just to make cameos. Right, exactly.
Hey,
The flip of
how's my
this.
friend Tubby the elephant? Let's talk Tubby.
Right?
You know,
Now, the flip of this for Disney has been, to me, what's been just an utter disaster of projects, and I don't know why they keep doing this, yet they keep doing it, and it's the live action remakes of their cartoons. I have yet to see one that I've liked. Like, I don't know, maybe that Lion King one was okay, but the rest of them have just been
it was weird
bad.
to have him talking as like a lion.
Right.
I don't want to have,
Um
you could have a voiceover, but I don't want to have them moving their mouth like they're talking to each other.
Why are they doing a live action of Moana? This makes no sense to me.
And why did they finish doing more Moanas in animation?
Just keep doing them as animated movies. They've been
Yeah,
pretty. The second one wasn't as good as the first, but they've been good. Like, just keep doing it. I don't understand the fixation that Disney has with doing live action movies of classics. Just you can have an animated movie and it's fine. Just leave it. You don't have to mess with it.
there must be a point where they go, okay, this is guaranteed money for us, so we're just going to just do this crap, and it
Right.
probably doesn't cost that much to pull it together, so they just, there they are, it's all money. Yeah.
I honestly I never really root for movies to bomb, but but I just wish that these live action versions of the classic animated films would just, like, between critics and viewers, just bottom out so we can be done
Well,
with them.
Snow White went south on them. That was
Yes,
one that was a loser,
right.
and it didn't stop them from doing more of them.
No, I know, it's no and that one was terrible,
Yeah.
man, and it had so many, like, controversies too, which is part of the other issue is, like, when you do a cartoon, I mean, you can have controversies in a cartoon, but I mean, you look at everything from who they cast and who they didn't cast, and it's just they brought it on themselves, and it just made things even worse. And here we go.
Disney likes to redeem characters in live action because, Cruella de Vil, I want her to be mean. I don't need to oh, she's been so tortured all these lives, and we need to make her nicer at some point. Or Maleficent, another one that
Right.
they try to redeem her and that she was abused as a girl. Nah, I don't want to know that. I want her to be the mean old hag that she is, and we need to have somebody like that to hate. So let's
Hmm.
just, and in animation, you can hate somebody and it doesn't care, you don't care.
Right.
It's not like, oh, they're gonna really be hurt. And I don't know. No, we don't want to do that. Can't
Right.
you hear these? I can see these board meetings where they come up with this crap and you go, oh, please, enough of this. Give me a movie. And here's another thing that's gone wrong with that whole world is Netflix and some of these other streamers have stolen away the rom-com. Rom-coms were good things to have in movie theaters in the summer. You
Yep.
would want to go see, some light little romance between two big stars where you go, yeah, that was kind of fun. But
Right.
now they do it on a streamer, and you think, well, I'm not paying money for that. Then if
Yep.
they tried to go back, but I think you need to bring, like, okay, Timothy Chalamet and whomever would be a big rom-com couple.
Yeah.
And you'd probably go to it, but then now he's in his kind of precious moment where he wants to just do prestige films. He doesn't want to dirty anything with, oh, I'm doing just a little kind of throwaway film. You need to. You need to. I think Ryan Gosling gets that. I think he gets.
I was just about to bring up Ryan Gosling because I feel like if there's going to be a rom-com kind of actor, it's Ryan Gosling. He's done
He's
it,
good.
and it works because he has that Tom Hanks kind of personality to him. And Tom Hanks to me was sort of that king of the rom-coms in like in
Right.
the 1990s and early 2000s. So like once he kind of grew up from Big, and then he sort of did those, those Oscar type movies like Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. He kind of settled in for a while in being a reliable kind of rom-com kind of guy,
Yeah.
right?
And they'd let him do one of those kind of prestige things that he liked.
Yep.
And then let's go back and do the things that people like.
Yeah, you can do Sleepless in Seattle and then come back and do Saving Private Ryan, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
And I think Ryan Gosling, he's a guy, he can do the big blockbuster, but he's such a, I don't know, a lovable kind of person.
He doesn't work enough. He needs to work more. I don't
Right.
know if he's running apartment houses on the side, and so he's go check all that stuff and fix the air conditioners. I don't know. But it seems like he could be working much more in a lot of very audience-friendly films.
Right. Yeah.
This whole concept where we do one every 5 years is nuts. And they all seem to be producers of these things, produce something every year. I mean, one movie a year, is that so hard to do? Let's hear Supergirl. I want to hear what you have to say about her.
So Supergirl, I don't know what it is about that character. It's like, I don't know if it's because Superman, they can reboot Superman as much as they want. Some of the movies are good, some of them are bad, but it's just one which I think they can, no matter what they do, it'll always be fine, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Supergirl, but it just feels like, I don't know, is it just because it's like Superman's kid sister or something and nobody can take it seriously as a character? It just feels like no matter what they ever do with that character, it's just destined to fail. And I saw the trailers for this and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I don't really want to go see this. The Wonder Woman stuff with Gal Gadot, that did fine. Well, the first one did, the second one not so much.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know what it is about and you think back, you remember the 1980s version of Supergirl, the one that thing was awful.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just I understand they want to tell that story. It just doesn't work. And
that was Helen Slater, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Christopher Reeve make a cameo in that? I don't remember.
There was a TV version that lasted a few years.
Right.
But yeah, I think she's, one that we haven't seen, and I would love it, would be Robin from Batman and Robin. He's been in, but he doesn't really. Wouldn't that be a good focus where you're always kind of second to the guy and you could be kind of bitter? I'd like that. A bitter second. Ryan Gosling, do you want to be bitter? Come, this is the time. Or Timothy Chalamet could be a good Robin.
That might be the spot. Yeah, I could see that happening. But I could almost see, well, and I know they've sort of played with this in the past, but to me, like a Catwoman movie would do better than a Wonder or a Supergirl. I don't know why, but it's just, to me, like if you're going to do that kind of superhero type of thing, it feels like that would be the safer bet to go. But
she's too bland. That's the problem with Supergirl, and so is Superman. He's bland, and after you get past kind of his history, it's like, okay, what's the deal here? That's why they seem to be more successful when they're Clark Kent than when they're Superman.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, they keep rebooting Spider-Man. Those generally are fairly good, and they seem to do well. They keep rebooting Batman. Generally speaking, they do well at the box office, and the movies are, for the most part, pretty good. The Superman stuff has been just hit and miss. Going back even to the Christopher Reeves years, where the first one was okay. Uh, I thought Superman 2 was probably the strongest of that era. And then they kind of like fell off a cliff from
They
from there.
wanted to make it a higher toned film in the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Where we've got Marlon Brando. Oh my God, really? And
Mhm.
then they get an unknown basically to play Superman. And then that's where they pushed all the money is in the supporting whatever people.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so here's the film too that's coming out. And you mentioned it before, and I'm kind of like you where I'm not sure how this is going to land, but it's Christopher Nolan, right? So Christopher
I
Nolan,
think it's gonna be a dud.
you
The
think it's going to be a
Odyssey,
dud? Yeah, like it feels again with some of these, when you do Shakespeare, Greek tragedies or whatever, you can go one way or the other. It could either be really good or just awful. I'm hoping that because it's Christopher Nolan, and I'm hoping because he has such a strong ensemble cast, it might save this, but I don't
that's
know.
you know what? That's one of those things where they say, "Christopher, what would you like to do next? We wanna get in business with you." And then
Right.
he picks some crap like this, and then but we'll throw our big stars at you, you'll get them, you'll be able to use them, and then it's kind of a stiff. This is stuff you didn't wanna read as a kid, so why would
Right.
you wanna see it as a movie as an adult?
What worries me a little bit with this too is they're not referring to it as the Odyssey. They're referring to it more as like Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey,
It's like
right?
Crona's the Mummy, you know?
Right. So
The
you
name
it
on it.
feels like right, it feels like, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, that kind of thing where you have to attach his name to give it credibility because I feel like if you don't, you're there maybe the studio's a little bit panicked about it that nobody wants to talk about it or what. But if we call it Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, well, that makes it a stronger
And
attraction.
if you added Matt Damon in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey,
There you go.
more blame to spread.
That's right. Yeah, so if it well, that's the other piece of it too, how quickly they'll chisel their names off of it
Yeah,
if it bombs,
I
right?
had nothing to do with the final cut.
That's not me.
Yeah, well, then we've got the appearance of Nate Bargatze in
Mhm.
The Breadwinner. Now, is he gonna be our new big comedy star? I don't think so. I like
Oh,
him, I
yeah.
enjoy his humor, but I think it's too low key even for a TV series. He doesn't have that kind of attitude like Ray Romano did.
It's funny, I was thinking while you're talking about Nate Bargatze, the comedian that popped into my head was Ray
Yeah,
Romano because he feels like he's that kinda guy that can he's sort of that everyday kind of guy, right? Who's a comedian and he's got a little bit of that personality, but he doesn't have the same presence as Ray
no,
Romano.
he's too low key where you go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not getting an attitude." He, is playing it's like the movie is called The Breadwinner, and it's like a Mr. Mom kind of thing where he's
Yeah.
running the house, and it's like, okay." I think there you need an actor if you're gonna really go for it, but I don't think that's this. I think
Right.
this is just a way of giving him some big screen credit. He's looking for that. He wants the ability to be more than, and a
Mhm.
lot of the comedians don't get that more than, opportunity. So this could be it could be his Rob Schneider, or it could be his Adam Sandler. You never know.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it will be interesting. Is there any film in particular you're really excited about this
Oh,
summer?
Insidious, I no, it's not, ugh. All those horror films, I'm not excited about. I am waiting for Devil Wears Prada because I wanna know how they did it
Okay.
and get it back into things. It could be just a bust, but they're
Yeah.
using the real writer the first writer of the first film is writing this one. Um, Rachel Bloom, if you know Rachel Bloom, she had her own TV series and she's involved with this. And I think she's very smart and clever. And it's just a matter of getting those people back in a different setting where maybe the one who was the assistant is equal to the boss, and how that dynamic works. But I think that could be fun to see, just to see how it shifts down.
Yeah. I think the ones that I'm excited about, and I don't, it feels like this is just, we'll see how things go. I am looking forward to Disclosure Day. I think that's one I'm going to go see in the theater. I am going to go see The Mandalorian and Grogu in the theater. It's a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Right. It's me, I don't know if it'll be the full family going to it or if it'll just be me and one of my daughters, but
to me, it looks too puppety, I think.
That's kind of what I'm a little worried about. Like the TV shows, even though Disney pumped in money into the TV shows, they always felt less than the movie. And it's not a surprise, right? Because you're not going to put, $300 million into a TV show necessarily, unless it's Game of Thrones, maybe. But, so there's always a lower production value on TV. What worries me is that when you look at some of the trailers and stuff, it feels like they didn't put a lot of money into it. And from what I've read, they didn't put a lot of money into it. It's one of the more inexpensive Star Wars movies to date. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hopeful.
They could have shot it at Disney World and you'll see people walking by in the background. I mean, that's about the level.
Right. So, so it's The Mandalorian and Grogu, Disclosure Day. I would like to see Toy Story 5 in the theater. I don't know if I'll be able to carve out time for that one. That may be a on the couch movie when it comes out later in the year. But I can also see going to that one. There's a drive-in theater not far from me. They closed down a year ago because the owner retired, but he just sold to somebody who's going to revitalize the business and reopen it this spring. And it feels like Toy Story 5 could be a good movie to go see at the drive-in, because it's, I want to see a safe movie at the drive-in.
Wait, they'll add one of the old ones with it.
Yeah, that would be fun too. But they've always done a really good job at getting first run films at this drive-in theater, and they tend to go for the family films, not, they might have a horror movie late at night, but
you get the live action Moana and Toy Story 5.
There you go. But yeah, so I'm thinking Disclosure Day, I'm thinking Mandalorian and Grogu, Toy Story 5, and I might, we'll see what the critics are saying. You'll have to keep me posted on this. I might pull the trigger and go see the Odyssey, but we'll see.
Will. I'll see all of them.
Well, of course you will.
But for me, it's the level of treats that you get with it.
Yeah.
The worse the movie, the more I'll eat.
Yes, there you go. So I do need to try to get to like 5 films this year, because that 5 more, because then that pays for my popcorn pass. I'll break even. I need to break even. I need to get to, I think it's 6 total is my break even point. So I'm 1 down, 5 more to go, and we'll be all right. So
we got to get through that. Yeah, that's a good thing. But maybe there's a surprise in the offing, and then you'll have another one.
Yeah, there
you'll be in the you'll be in the black on the popcorn fortunes, right?
And that's what we aim for, to be in the black on the popcorn, right? Not to get black in popcorn. Nobody wants burnt popcorn.
Well, then
maybe
then you break a tooth, and then you have to go to the dentist, and it's like $1,000 to fix it. No,
right? No. So, all right. Well, it looks like we've got a busy summer ahead of us. A lot of movies here. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back again next week with another episode of Streamed and Screened.